All right, dear friends, welcome to excuse me, to our Thursday noon Eastern Time daily live. So a lot of you great folks can join us now earlier. Those of you in the UK, those of you in other countries, those of you who perhaps cannot stay up late. It has been a wonderful edition with your brilliance, your countenance, your vision, your visage, your savoir faire, your ability to discern the issues. It's been wonderful. Absolutely gratifying, wonderful, so terrific. We have a lot to discuss. I think today's anticipatory reference to Candace Owens' announced or dropped interview with Hunter Biden, I think is going to be so big and so huge and so inane, but not for the reason that most people think. There's a reason why it's big. There's a reason why it's huge. I will explain that in great detail, but first, this message from our sponsor. My friends, this is bigger than most people realize. While everyone watches missiles and fighter jets, the real battle is happening in the supply chain. Nearly every advanced U.S. weapon system depends on tungsten, yet America has barely mined it domestically in years, while China dominates global supply. Washington is now racing to fix that. The Pentagon has committed millions toward restarting domestic tungsten production, and President Donald Trump's Project Vault initiative launched a $12 billion critical mineral strategy to secure American supply chains. That's where Vault Strategic Mining comes in. Trading as KNOX in Canada and KNXFF in the U.S., Vault is building a strategic tungsten portfolio anchored by historic Nevada projects tied to past U.S. defense production. With tungsten prices climbing and global tensions rising, this is no longer just mining, it is national security. Check out the link below to learn more, and special thanks to Vault Strategic Mining for sponsoring today's video. Now, my friends, a couple of things which are important to note. First and foremost, did you see where Daily Wire, Ben, the whole thing seems to be just shutting down, shutting off, and shutting up for reasons that are obvious? It's not the message. The message doesn't resonate or resignate. I think George Bush said this. If I have a message which nobody gets, nobody follows, nobody understands, nobody agrees with, you're not going to find a lot of people or who find entertaining, because believe it or not, when Rush Limbaugh was at his height, or some people say height, he was absolutely not necessarily enjoyed or loved by everyone. Some people liked him because he was entertaining. Ben Shapiro was not entertaining. Laura Loomer is off the reservation. There's this one particular piece I recited on X, my X at Lionel Media. There was Laura Loomer saying, this Epstein file things is a hoax. Now, you can't. This is called a lack of coordination. This is like TPUSA. These are people who say, no, Laura, you can't say that. You can't say that. You're making this look as though you, being this perceived spokesperson for I don't want to say AIPAC. It's not AIPAC. That AIPAC has gone the way of MAGA. It's like this all-encompassing thing. It's not really that, but you know what I'm saying. A kind of a pro-Israeli particular vantage point. Since you are so aligned with that, whenever you say something that is patently absurd, people are thinking that that's the official position of Israel, and it's not. So they've got to reel her in. You got to be careful with this. You've got to find out. It's just like when TPUSA, they started talking, and Erica, by the way, who was the singular biggest lunatic in the entire area, but until Victor Marx came along, took that one down, Mr. Cathead, took that crown hands down and doesn't get it. Doesn't understand what happened to him. Still doesn't get it. They're looking for, do you understand what you did? We were 3 with a cat. Yeah, it was cool, huh? Awesome. No. So anyway, so today is going to be the interview with Hunter. Now, of course, people are misunderstanding this. Some people wrote, well, the only way Hunter does this is if it benefits Hunter. No kidding. Stephen Salty says, hope you're having a splendid day, Lionel. Indeed, sir. Nice, overcast, kind of raining. Beautiful. Love the rain in New York City. Love it. Yesterday, it was so hot. It was 95, and today, 60. And for those of you doing centigrade, I can't help you. I don't know what to do with that. In any event. So. People are listening. Oh, look at this. We got friends from Ireland that are listening. God bless you, folks. Many are asking, well, what's this about? I say, no, wait. Mix it up. Mix it up. Let's hear people who normally don't speak. Bring it up. Find out things you agree with and things you don't. And have a lot of people say, somebody speak on behalf of Joe Biden. And remember, I want you to disabuse yourself of something. This is not about liking people, agreeing with people, being a lefty, being a Democrat. It's not it at all. That's not it. It's a bigger story. Let me give you an analogy by analogy. When I grew up, before we had radio was big. Radio was huge. Radio was just, that's all we had. Yeah, we had albums, but you couldn't listen to your album in your car. There was a time even before maybe 8 tracks came along and they were a pain in the neck. Cassettes later on were great, but you really were pretty much at some particular point beholden to whatever your radio station was. And you had various formats. You had AM and FM. And this is even before AM was talk. Talk really didn't come till later. Talk wasn't really and why talk was never on FM, I think it was later in terms of, Stern and others. In any event. So you had AM and FM. You had top 40, and then you had easy listening and whatever it was. And then it got kind of interesting on FM. You had AOR, CHR, Contemporary Hit Radio. Then there was AOR. These are called album-oriented rock, or as we called it, all over the road. And then there was AC, adult contemporary, and then there was country, and there was urban, or urban came later on. So that was a way. Those were the demarcations. And then in the 70s, something happened, which is very interesting. With the advent of more college stations, which are always great. They're always experimental. They're always terrific. College stations with kind of alternative. You had wild admixtures. We had one WQSR, which I loved, 102.5. It was my favorite. You don't know what you were going to get. You could get Louis Armstrong, Brian Auger, Thelonious Monk, Willie Nelson, because at that particular time, remember when Red-Headed Stranger came out, it was enormous. And you had people who just blew everything apart, blew everything. It was just, it's anything you want. I am tired of people speaking in this compartmentalized. I don't want to hear Fox News, CNN, this and that. I don't want to hear this anymore. It's boring. It's boring. I want to hear nuance. I want to hear subtleties. I want to hear new flavors. It's just like with food. I want to taste cumin and star anise and I just want to be able to hear a lot of stuff. So what Candace is doing is she's saying everything that you thought before you knew about either left or right or MAGA, it's done. And for purposes of an entertainment program, we're going to talk to everybody and anybody about it at any time. You know who did this? Lex Friedman did it. Joe Rogan did it and does it. Tucker certainly does it. By the way, side note, did you see the Tucker Carlson? Strike that. The Joe Rogan apologia to Theo Von. Anybody see that? Joe Rogan is the best apologizer anybody's ever seen. He can say, you know what, that was a wrong call on my part, and make you admire him and not say, aha, gotcha. He makes you realize and teaches you that, believe it or not, apologizing, speaking from the heart, will endear you. I'm not going to go into detail. He thought maybe the Theo Von was acting a little strange. I mean, whatever. I don't know. But it was wonderful hearing somebody say an apologia, an expiation, renouncing what you said, apologizing, providing correction, course correction. It's wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. So what do we have today? Everybody's going to be watching today like you can't believe. Because we had this one over here, and Hunter Biden's over here, and Hunter Biden's over there. And Candace is going to do to him what she did to Cathead. I quoted this thing from, it was Kenny Rankin. I think Silver Morning was the album. Kenny Rankin and his wife Yvonne Rankin wrote something else. Someone killed that cat, and that is that. It's called "Kill the Cat." It's beautiful by Kenny Rankin. Made me think of Victor, who, again, I repeat, still thinks he did a great interview. So what Candace did was, Candace never eviscerated him, never attacked him, never, made him held her ground and said, no, we're not going to do that. Are you going to apologize? No, I'm not going to apologize. No can do. Sorry about that, Chief. What about this? No, not going to do that. And she never was mean, never raised her voice, never caustic, never. And he just had that kind of stupid, kind of goofy, kind of, I think he thought he was smooth or something. Smooth. Now, what are we going to do about Hunter Biden? Hunter Biden, first of all, is an example of today's drug and mental health story. Did you know on Drudge today, there's a headline, the number of pediatricians who have either prescribed or have diagnosed their children, patients with anxiety has gone up 300%. Anxiety. A kid with anxiety. Kid. And you know why they have anxiety? Because they're told they can have anxiety. Now, I'm sure there are some actually anxious kids, but for the most part, they say, "Oh, I can be anxious." Yeah, okay, I'm going to be anxious. Well, that's cool. I'm anxious. I've got anxiety. I like that. It's an excuse. I don't have to. I can. It's absurd. So anyway, there's all kinds of great stuff, but Hunter Biden is a nut. He's a profligate. He is his prodigal son. He is a dirtbag. He's a disheveled reprobate. He is without merit. He was this guy doing coke and meth and this and that with hookers, and we supplied him, and the Secret Service took care of him. And if I were the president, I would have kidnapped his ass and said, "Oh yeah, try to stop me." I would have thrown him into some mandatory. I would have told Secret Service, "I will look the other way. If he tries to escape, beat the living shit out of him. You have my immunity. Nothing will happen to you." And I would tell him, understand something. I'm the president of the United States, and I'm your father, and this ends now. Now, not only are you embarrassing to me, then again, I've embarrassed myself so much. You are a waste of flesh. You are pond scum. You are detritus. You are cat vomit. You are nothing. You are egesta. You are human dandruff. And we're going to fix this. And I suggest, if you're smart, you do what I say. So not me, I guess maybe he's got his stuff together, but he was enabled by so many people. So anyway, so what's Candace going to talk about? Well, first and foremost, what I hope he does is I hope she recognizes blows something up. For example, what is it that you want to address, Candace? American foreign policy? Idiosyncratic inconsistencies as to issues of whatever it is? Do you want to talk about how he was betrayed? You want to attack the Democratic Party? The best thing, what I would recommend, is you say, let me tell you what the Democratic Party did to him. The Democratic Party are the biggest backstabbers you've ever met. You think the Republicans are bad? Democrats are the worst. They took advantage of my father. They basically kidnapped him. And let me tell you what they also did, Hunter. They also blackmailed you, okay? They honeypotted your ass because you kept turning. They had stuff. We still don't know what's on your laptop. And I'm not talking about pictures of you with coke or with hookers or with guns, but there's stuff about young girls and cousins and nieces and God only knows what. And they had that. And they knew that if they turned that over to the right authorities, your ass would be grass. And that's exactly what happened. So tell people about how they blackmailed you. Explain how there's this blackmail thing. Hell, we got people from Epstein to this. And he also, by the way, can separate himself from Epstein. Epstein was Epstein. It doesn't matter whether Epstein is as important as they say it was. It is perceived as being this important. And find out who were the people. Remember, when it came to American foreign policy, if you don't like that, if you've got a problem, as does Candace and others, with our involvement with Israel, understand it was identical under Biden. Identical. Tony Blinken, identical. No difference whatsoever. None. Same thing with Ukraine. Same thing. So there's no difference in there. So recognize that one. Well, what are the differences? What is the big difference? And the idea is that you got to talk about that whole notion of the corruption of politics in general. We need, and listen to me, my friends, we need an enema. We need a fecal disimpaction, metaphorically. We need to get rid of these bezoars, these hairballs, these occluded globs of blah that are contaminating our system. We need to start from scratch. We need everything from the beginning, to use ELP. We need everything from the beginning. We are in a position right now, my friends, and I'm telling you right now, I tell you more than anything else, more than ever. We need to destroy everything, and that's why bringing him in shakes everything up. What's he doing there? What, you want to hear the usual suspects? How about Jesse Waters? Would you like that? I could do that for you. This will get people's attention. Mix it up. Change the rules. And the first thing, by telling people the reason why we need a new system, is stop this left-right stuff. If you don't like him, Hunter, fine. Don't like him because he's a dirtbag or a scoundrel or a rapscallion or whatever it is. That's fine. But don't do it because he's a Democrat, because Democrats don't exist. I don't even know what these people are. I don't know what they are. It's like calling them all criminals. You say, oh, I'm not a criminal. I'm an arsonist. I'm a robber. I'm a rapist. I'm okay, fine, but you're still a criminal. And left and right, it's the same thing. It is a complete and total joke. A complete and total joke. And that's why it's so critical for her to get to the bottom of this. And also, there's a lot of pre-inventory stuff, a lot of pre-discussion. And what she will have done with him is to sit there and say, okay, now listen, tell me what you want to get across. What is your point of view? What is the purpose of this? I'll help you. Let me hear what your motivation is. As somebody said, he only wants to help himself. Yes. Look at this from Wales. Look at this. Incredible. Everybody's here. Got Nikki, everybody's. As we speak, Wales and Ireland, the UK is beautiful. So we're going to be watching that today. And it is incredible. And I want to shake things up. And the reason I want to shake things up is that it is changing drastically. Also today, my friends, it's the last Colbert. Colbert is right in the hood. Right around the hood. Right over here. So we drive by this all the time. And they're trying to say it's the end of a something or other. It's the end. It's an end of nothing. It's an end of a waste of time. It is a model. It is a form of entertainment that nobody cares about anymore. And for those, and again, Colbert thinks, like Victor Marx, that he did a great job and he's important. No, he's not. He read jokes and he was there to propound a leftist, anti-Trump propaganda. It wasn't even leftist. It was anti-Trump. That's the beginning. That's the end. That's all it was. And all these people from Corden, well, he's gone. Jimmy Fallon, who was just this stupid, giggly, kind of this retarded, laughing, I don't know. He's a mess. He was so bad before. Remember his stories, honey, where he was at bars and stuff? And I mean, his hand was cut. I mean, he was fucked up. So anyway, I guess now he's okay. Then you have Seth Meyers. Nobody even knows who he is. Nobody even watches that. Seth Meyers. Have you seen that? It's scaled down. It's like in your rumpus room. It looks like he's just like I don't even know what the hell that's the point. So you've got Jon Stewart, who never knows. He considers himself kind of like the late night emeritus. You know, I don't know what you want to call it. His show was when Daily Show first came out, it was fantastic. It was a different time then too. But he really started talking about things, and I kind of dug it. Trump changed everything. Trump just polarized everything. And this jadrul left his show before Trump, which, excuse me, he left the show, thank you, right before Trump. So he could go on and run. This is Jon Stewart. So he could run a petting zoo or something in Jersey. What was it? An animal farm? Animal sanctuary. What is this animal sanctuary? Okay. How about a children's sanctuary? How about helping humans? In any event, I digress. So he left and they forgot him. Then he was going to be a director. Remember, he was going to produce this Indian movie that 12 people, and they were on the film. They were on the actual set. They were forced to watch it. He got this high and mighty stuff. They do it a lot. Then he realized, what the hell have I done? Remember that crazy Samantha Bee? She had her show, then she took off. Then there was Steve Carell. He was part of that. He was an alum. He did very well. John Oliver, he did well. John Oliver does some damn good stuff every now and then. He does. He may be, you know, he's far more ecumenical in his subject matter. Then there were it was Colbert. Oh, that awful Michelle, the woman who had that. She had that. What is her name? The congresswoman has that greasy hair, the wavy hair. Anyway, that Michelle. This was this comedian who was horrible. Remember Larry Wilburn? Horrible, huh? Wilcox or Wilborn? Horrible. They didn't know what was going on. He was like, I'm the cool black guy. Okay, fine. That doesn't work. So it just collapsed. But they were committed. They were budgeted. And the 4 or 5 people, they just wanted to hear Trump jokes all over the place. That's it. And Kimmel might have been the most effective, but also the most, it doesn't work. Now, here's the thing. Let me explain this to you, and let me see, and I'm going to teach you a lot. If you don't, I'm sure you already know this. This is the truth, whether they like it or not. If you and I open a restaurant, okay, oh, Julie, thank you. You might have an English pub theory or whatever the particular group is. And I'm going to look at it, and you might say, where's bangers and mash? Where's mushy peas? Where's whatever the hell it is? Where's a Scotch egg? Where's piddle and squeak or whatever the hell you want to call this. And I'm going to say, look, I don't know what you're talking about, but I don't particularly care for that. And you say, excuse me, you want to do a British pub? This is what we eat. Now, where is it? Where is it? But I don't like that. I didn't ask you whether you liked it. It's just like people who say, I'm gonna have a real, I'm gonna have like a vegan. Okay, fine, but be careful. Don't call it vegan. Call it something else because they're gonna. But it's better for you. I don't care whether it's better for you. That doesn't work commercially. Some things just don't work. And if you're going to do something, you better know what's going on. And if you have a bar, at least in this country, something interesting. Little side note. Do you know where? There are pizza wars in the United States, in the U.S. We have, of course, New York, Chicago, New Haven, which is really in Connecticut, which is really interesting. They have Beats, which is a whole other story, and Detroit, and they have things like Memphis, but they don't really. Anyway, so did you know that the real New York pizza, the real Chicago pizza, is called bar pizza? It's thin, not this deep dish cake stuff I don't know what the hell that stuff is. Yeah. But it goes to show you the bar food. And bar food is what people really like. If you don't have that, bar food is like whatever children want. You like pizza, you like burgers, you like sliders like this. That's terrific. Shrimp tempura? No. Even though that's good, what am I trying to get you? Why this elliptical desultory comment? Because if you're on TV at night, I want to win the numbers. I'm not trying to start a political revolution. I'm not trying to tell you things that I think make you smarter. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you what people want to hear, and I'm staying away from what people don't want to hear. You may look at this, you may not understand this, but Johnny Carson, you never even knew what he thought politically. You never did because he said, why do I want to alienate half of my audience? Plus, nobody wants to hear this. Nobody. And I know how to. Honey, would you be so kind as to bring me? I cannot find my tissue dispenser anywhere. I must irrigate my nares. Thank you. Pardon me. I have. There are certain things I don't talk about. I don't talk about because sometimes they're esoteric, or sometimes it's not the right time. And if you've ever been on terrestrial radio, there's certain things you just don't talk about. There's things I don't say. There's words I don't use. It's not censorship, it's selection. It's like when you're a musician, you play certain songs you don't play. This is the right, you just do it. It's called selection. It's knowing what you're doing. And I'm not going to hear, he says here, and I'm not going to tell you what you need to know. Believe it or not, there are some topics that work with you. I've noticed they just don't. I'm not even going to tell you what they are because you're going to say, wait a minute, I like that. No, I know what I'm talking about. So that's just called topic selection. So what these people did was they said, no, you don't understand this. They talk to their friends. See, they talk to their friends. And their friends feed them the idea. They tell the Colberts, no, keep slamming Trump. Nobody wants to hear. It's not funny. Same thing with SNL. SNL not one time made fun of the fact that you've got a president of Biden who's walking around shitting in his pants who doesn't know where he is. Yeah, a little bit of that Dana Carvey sort of who kind of did a little bit of but it was very mild. It was very mild. And they will never learn. Let me explain something to you. Back again. Trump changed everything. Trump changed everything. Do you ever see that thing where you have a thing of like a glass of water, and at the top you sprinkle pepper, and if you put like soap or something on your finger and you put your finger in, the pepper immediately moves to the perimeter. That's what Trump did. Trump came along and changed everything, unleashed an insanity. And that's what Candace has to do. Go after the insanity. We are ready for Freddie. Say whatever you want to do and have people say, did you see that? My only advice, that she's asking is make sure, Candace, I'm sure you'll do it. Tomorrow people will say, did you see that? Yeah. Did you tell me you saw that? Tell me you saw that. What happened? Just Hunter Biden, yeah. Tell me you saw that. That's what you want to hear. That's it. I don't care if it's good, illuminating, elucidating, if it's beneficial, if it's educational. Who cares? Who cares? You want it to be like, wow. Because I'm telling you, everything is messed. I got to throw some ideas to you. You don't know how I am seeing levels of immaturity, rudeness, and discourtesy that has become, I guess, inculcated in our society. For example, there was this person who was not a child, but investigating or saying something online. And there was some policy, so I'm not gonna say too much. So somebody somewhat known, but not really, responded in a way that this person did not like. Now, this person was acting instead, or in the position of representing this group of people, whatever it was. So his response was, oh yeah, go fuck yourself. Now I'm thinking, wait a minute, hold it, stop. That's not it. I understand your feeling, and I probably agree with you. That's not what you're supposed to do. What do you mean? You can't say that. Why not? Because that's not a good word. It's not. Kids today, in particular, younger people, don't understand this. They don't understand this. It's like you explaining cutlery. By the way, to you, UK, to all my friends in the UK, I don't care what, the British Isles, doesn't matter. I don't care. Ireland, Wales, Scotland, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're here in this town all the time. I can spot you. I can spot you. First of all, your trainers, your shoes, your sneakers, as we call them, they have trainers. You have those weird Adidas. I can spot them in a heart. You have the most. It's like the most boring. They're soccer shoes. They're like there's no heel. I can just spot them. Sometimes glasses. Sometimes I can also. During winter, the way you wear your scarf, I can tell that immediately because you're a professional scarf wearer. But the giveaway, I can be at a restaurant. The way you eat, your fork and knife work, cutlery work is genius. You can have the most, I don't care, you can get somebody from Donegal or Bunchronic, this one there, for fuck's sake, and you eat this burp. It's so dainty. It's like, oh my God. They can be absolutely just everybody. Oh my God. I knew this friend of mine kept saying, for fuck's sake. I said, quit. You can't. He goes, what? I said, I know it doesn't mean anything to you, but you can't. That's like he was so great. He says, I think I told you, he says, he would always say I. I go, I. What was I? I what? Say it. And it was like I or hi. I don't know. I still don't know. I sort of, I. What? What are you saying? What is this I? Who's hi? I? Huh? And he says, can you tell me where the toilet is? I said, listen, wait a minute. Whoa. Listen, don't say that. That's why. I said, because you're speaking of the actual receptacle where you know. That's what I mean. No, you mean like the restroom, a little boy's room, the ladies' room, the restroom, the men's room. You know what? I said, toilet sounds like, I was like, excuse me, where's a shitter? It's like, no. He didn't know this. So I had a friend of mine one time. He was so great. He says, oh, I told you. This is my Irish friends. He did this thing was terrific. I did not know about your man and your one. I don't know if anybody knew this. I didn't know this. I got a crash course. And one time I was talking to him, he says, Your man Hitler? I said, what? My man Hitler? Wait a minute, hold it. Wait, what? He goes, your man Hitler. I said, I thought your compadre, your whatever. Your man, that guy. And he says, saw your man. Who? Hitler? No, your other man. I got another man? I didn't know what that meant. I thought, who? Your man. I saw your man talking to your one. Talking to my one? My one what? What the hell are you talking about? And he would do this too. Instead of saying, he went, I said, can you hear me? I said, who's the, I said, you got to get this looked at. He was just saying, So I'm thinking this poor guy's deaf. He's talking about the shitter and this and that. And he's talking about Hitler. I don't know what he's talking about. So I didn't know this. He told me, he says, oh, by the way, my partner's coming. I said, your what? Your partner. Oh, hey. Yeah. Okay. All right. Hey, that's cool. No problem. I didn't know. Didn't look gay to me, but, whatever. Hey, I don't care. It's New York. What am I? Who cares? I want you to meet my partner. I said, I'll be right here. So what's your partner's name? He said, Camel. He said, what was that? Camel. Camel? Even like a dromedarian? Like a Egypt, Lawrence of Arabia? Camel? Camel? Are you asking me a question or are you grunting? There you go again. What does that mean? Can you hear me? I think this is the most confusing thing ever. Your man. I didn't want to say, is it your man or your one? I didn't know. Camel? Camel? Okay. Listen, after you see some of these great Irish names, you spell Siobhan Roisin. I said, how do you spell that? Aro Fada Way. I said, wait. Who? Aro Fada. Hello, Mata. Hello, Fada. Remember Alan Sherman? That's me from Camp Granada. So I bet your Fada. I know nothing. This is rudimentary. I'm the Neanderthal. I don't know any of this stuff. Fada, Roisin, Siobhan. How do you spell Siobhan? PX. That's it. That's Gaelic. Huh? Now I'm doing it. Huh? So anyway, one day we're at the pub. He goes, oh, look. There's my partner. I said, Camel, right? So I'm looking for some dude named Camel. And this woman shows up. He goes, are you Camel? I said, no, you got it too. It must be on the family. They're all deaf. It's Carmel or Carmel, depending upon where, because we have this car service here. Carmel. I said, you said Camel. I said, there we go again. It just went on. Yes, who's on first? It's fantastic. But on each of them is like, oh, I've got, how many in your family? 12, 15. My God. But, I know that was a long intro, but the way they ate was just beautiful. So dainty, so refined, so, the cutlery, the fork. What do Americans do? Here's the fork. And they do this. This is the fork like this. What is this? What is this? What is this? And you go like this. I was like Pablo Casals are playing the cello. We never learned that. We never learned any of this. It never came up. There was at no time, at ever, did anybody ever say, oh, by the way you eat is sort of nothing. It never came up. So there's this incredible, and I just had to bring that up. I'm just so, it's one of those things that just drives me nuts, especially when people going out on business, because more and more, because people are getting back into the whole notion of the business lunch. They're meeting, they're trying to conviviate over some victuals and viands some little semi-diurnal whatever. Oh, Basiliera Mia, where have you been? Where Carlos is. Mother was a stickler for manners. We were the best behaved children at the Copacabana Palace. Wow. I've never been to a palace. I'm sure you were. You know what's funny about that, Carlos? Seriously, and thank you. You know what's funny? Nobody ever said, okay, I mean, I don't think we did anything wrong, but we just were normal. We just kept quiet. Or we weren't obstreperous, or we weren't rude over it. Anyway, that was a bit of a tangent, but I liked it. I appreciate that. But there's this thing about, I want to mix everything up, as is my subject matter. And I went, going back to Candace, I want her today to say, we're going to talk about this, and this. The big story was Massey. The big story is that one of the best articles, read today's RT on the decline of Stephen Colbert. Brilliant. I do a private channel stuff where I can be, say whatever I want. And I was doing one today. That's paywall, sorry. And I was talking about this whole thing about Colbert and how it all changed and how it went back and how Donald Trump changed everything. It changed everything. He changed everything. You can't believe how he's changed everything. And it was so bad. If you did not hate him, you loved him. Mrs. L and I were saying, do you know our rap, so to speak, what we have? When you get into this biz, get ready for it. And I'm sure anybody can tell you, Candace, but I've been doing this for a long time, just in general. And like I told you, like 38 years, 88 I started, professionally, kind of like doing talk radio. Never saw anything like this. People are like, I'm your left. You're right. We never knew Republican, Democrat. There wasn't this hatred. It really first hit us after Rush, but even then it wasn't hate. But Trump blew it up. Trump, we started to hate people. We hated people. Hated them. Hated after Trump. Hated. I mean, there were some things where people sort of, when Fox News started and Roger Ailes came along and he was pretty much opinionated. I mean, it was, but it was not hate. Trump blew it apart. So when you go into this stuff, you should hear this stuff, the rumors, the lies. You can't believe this. It's almost so good where I'm thinking, I kind of wish that were true, but oh well. Let me tell you another one. Let me tell you what AI has done. Massey in Kentucky, Massey has a lot of 65 plus and older. That's my group, but I'm cooler than them. I know what's going on. They know. There was a fake AI commercial. Somebody passed this rumor that Massey was in a throuple. You know what that is, right? That's a threesome. That's Troialism. Did you ever hear of Troialism? What about a tribid that's a good one for a lesbian. Sapphic, tribid. Nobody talks about it. Anyway, they created this AI picture, kind of a grainy, kind of a CCTV of Massey checking into a hotel with AOC and Ilhan Omar. Come on. They believed it. What do I do with that? Now on X, if I put together a thumbnail or something and it's crazy, I've got Victor Marx on a unicycle with a cat head. They wrote created by AI. Well, no shit. It's not a picture. I had to tell you that. They're so worried about that. But meanwhile on TV, somebody said, "Is he having a? Oh my God, he's at a." It's incredible. This is Wikipedia has a rule or whatever this is. Do not, no, this is what this is not this is not accurate, or don't believe it, or something along those lines. I mean, this is the wildest thing in the world. And it's crazy now. So what happens is we live in a Steely Dan world. Remember where the word Steely Dan comes from Naked Lunch, William Burroughs. And it was a metallic dildo. And supposedly the story is that these women were so bereft of sensation that they had to be a little aggressive with any kind of self-pleasure. And so everything kind of ramped up a notch. That's what this is. We are so vile now. Pete Davidson, even our comedy, I've never seen such. Did you watch the Kevin Hart? You got to watch at least as much as you can watch, possibly watch the roast. It's not even a roast. It's hatred. It's hatred. I remember the old days of, Dean Martin and Don Rickles and doing Sinatra. It was funny. Even, have you ever heard the old original tapes of the Friars club roast from the 30s, 40s, Humphrey Bogart, and oh man, it was serious. But it wasn't mean, it was clever. It was, I love you. Today there's no sense of this. And Pete Davidson is making some joke about Charlie catching I don't even want to tell you the joke. But it's just to see who can use a pun and who can be as overtly and excessively and unnecessarily vile. This is where we are today. So Candace, remember, no subtlety. Don't be smooth. You got to go. A lot of people, they've been dulled down. There's no such thing as being clever. There's no such thing as the double entendre or the double entendre, whatever they call it. You can't do that. You can't be clever. You must be brutal. You must hit them over the head with obviousness. This is where we are right now. Seriously, this is where we are right now. We are at a world where, we don't know what's going on. Do you know what's going on right now? Anybody with the Iranian war? Is there a war going on? Do we have a war? Is the Strait of Hormuz open? What's happening? Do you know? No. What about the UAPs? What about anybody hear about that? No. What about the no, don't know. Don't know anything about this. You don't know anything about this? No. This is the most important thing in the world. This is so critical. This is so critical. This is the part which is the most important. And this is so interesting. Absolutely so critical. And remember, no matter what you do, always look for what's happening. And remember, if you don't get pushback, you're wasting your time. If you don't get pushback, if you don't get a troll, if you don't get it's like, what happened? It's like, what happened? The other day we had something in our fridge. I don't know. There were these English muffins. I like the sprouted stuff. I enjoy that. Not the regular flour. I like sprouted Ezekiel stuff. Anyway, I looked and there was a mold on there that, it was proud. I said, this is good. This means it attracted the right things. If it doesn't attract mold or bugs, it's artificial. If you're not attracting trolls, if you're not attracting them, you're wasting your time. So Candace, what you have to also understand, and others, is make sure that you attract trolls. Same thing goes for Tucker. Same thing goes for others as well. Look what happened. Attract them. Find out who's who. And make sure you're sincere. That's all. What do you think happened to Ben Shapiro? What happened? Do you think it was Ben Shapiro's message? No. Do you think it was Ben Shapiro's idea about Israel? No. Do you think about it? No, it was the fact that Ben Shapiro is a dick and people don't like him. They don't like him. He's hateful. Ben Shapiro is a dick. Pardon my French. I don't know what you want to call it. He's just not. And there's nothing even. Laura Loomer is a little daft, but kind of funny and weird. Like, what's she going to say now? This is crazy. Like, he never took it to heart. Ben Shapiro, it just wasn't, there was nothing, it just wasn't there. There was nothing even remotely. You know, when food is, sometimes you say, well, you know what? I'm not crazy about this, the texture, but you know, it's not bad. It's, I've had worse. That's a good thing. Ben Shapiro was, this is worse. This is not even worth my time. And there are people, by the way, who say they meander into this thing and they don't even know what it is we're talking about. They want to make it as much as personality as possible. It's not about Ben Shapiro. It's what Ben Shapiro is saying. What is the delivery? What is the message? What about him? What about Trump? What about anybody? What about Gavin Newsom? What about Massey? What about whoever? It's the message. But to other people, it's not the message. It's just they just hate. Because for some reason they said, here, you want to do something? I know you don't have any friends. I know you can't communicate. I know you don't read anything, but here, there's this device. It's a phone. You can, you know, go to Twitter or Instagram, whatever you want, and you can just, because you can say that. Huh? Yeah, you could mumble. Well, they got some things for you. Oh, by the way, you could be hateful, say something really mean. Here, do this. And immediately they said, this is great. All their lives, they've been forced out of any kind of public discussion because there was nothing ever there. And now for the first time, they're saying, this is terrific. This is great. I don't have to say anything. I don't have to know anything. I can just be mean and nasty and just as epithet laden as you can imagine. Be coprolalic, concupiscent, name it. Do it. This is fantastic. Yes. And you don't have to make any sense. Here's a guy yesterday who said when he was 3 years old, he was forced to decapitate a cat and wear a hat of the cat's head. You can't beat this stuff. Huh? Yeah. Come on. That's where we are right now. And part of it is kind of fun. So it's hard to negotiate through all this stuff. But that's what happens. Stephen Salty says, Ben is calculated. Larry is just a lunatic. Larry's still here. Ben is not. With all that money and all that pumping and all that artificial, they tried everything. These people were so stupid that they decided to reissue old Candace video. I mean, how sad was that? How sad was that? Unbelievable. And if I were Trump, he won't do this because he can't, but I would reach out to Candace and I would say, I like your style. I want to talk with you. I would force her hand. I want to talk with you. Come to the White House. Come on. Now, of course, she'd have to think, do I do this? Because a lot of people would say, they met. He met with Zelensky, for God's sake. He meets with everybody. Because to them, to a lot of Neanderthal children out there, that means some kind of capitulation, either on Trump's part or her part. See, but that's what I would do. I would mix this thing up left and right. You know how I would neutralize somebody? By telling them, you want to go after Elon no more? Tell her crowd that she makes a lot of sense in some cases. She will be immediately ruled inauthentic by other people. Doesn't matter what Trump says because people don't listen to what Trump says things on Monday, Tuesday is another thing. Some people say he says things in order to affect, the equity markets on Wall Street. He says we've got bombing on one day, so this will go up. We're going to have peace the other, so this will go up. Then he's playing the markets by saying what's going to happen. Maybe we'll nuke them, maybe we won't. That's a bit, I think, much. But I want you to understand what's happening. This is the most exciting stuff anybody's ever seen. I mean, this is fun. And you know what's going to happen? When Trump leaves office, because he will not do a third term, but when Trump leaves office, and it's whoever, you're going to feel so empty, so it'd be like the empty nest syndrome. You're going to feel so horrible, so terrible, so through, so finished. This man who was in your life for 3 terms, because he won the second, for 12 years plus, you're not going to know what to do. You're going to beg him to come back. You're going to miss him so much. This is going to be so boring. Colbert made a career on it. These other people, because they have nothing to say. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand this? Well, whether you like Trump or not, it doesn't really matter. But it's absolutely true. He made this so exciting. Who? Rachel Maddow? By the way, talk about somebody. Isn't she boring? Talk about a wet fart. My God. When Rachel Maddow first came, we used to work together at Air America. That was a fun place. They just didn't know it was a radio station. But she was a very, very nice person. But I swear to God, she went to remember she was making cocktails and she had some guy with her and women loved her. They kept saying, I got a girl crush. I got a girl. Remember that big girl crush bullshit? I got a girl crush. Why? I just do. That's over with. MSNBC's over with. Joy Reid, over. Al Sharpton, who? Over with. CNN is, it's done. Who's still here? Trump. And to be fair, Fox, if you watch that. And when you finally pull Trump out, what? Who's going to be the person? Who's going to be the person where you say, hey, they're having a rally? Nobody. And where will you go? You will then go from politics to the individuals here online. You will go to the Candace people. And I know there are some people who don't like her. I know that. I've seen this. And the reason why? Jealousy, confusion. How can you not like her? Or how can you dislike her? What has she said? Well, maybe she's been pretty strong in terms of some opinions, but she's kind of like Trump. She came in and just changed everything. Tell me one person, seriously, tell me one person online today more powerful, not popular is different because you can say, well, there's more people listening. There are some Indian channels where you have 30 million people. I don't think that counts, but tell me anybody, at least in our particular culture, our neck of the woods, tell me who's more powerful. Who is more powerful? Who? Good luck. Who? Glenn Beck? Good guy. I mean, who? Tucker? Close. But powerful? See, the thing about that, you got to understand something. People don't love Tucker. I'm not saying this negatively. I'm saying, no, people like him a lot and respect him. But Candace, they love her. Watch her show right before it starts. Read the comments. Oh my God. You'll think this is a religious experience. There are people going, they are just there and throwing money at her. She's a gazillionaire. They love her. They'll give her blood, digits, firstborn. They'll sacrifice calves. I mean, I'm telling you, you can laugh all you want, dismiss me all you want. I know I'm right. So today, my friends, that's coming up. We will meet, of course, afterwards for us to dissect this. And by the way, if you don't want to join us, please, I understand. Rachel Maddow's got a good one. You might want to check that out too. Jesse Waters has something real hysterically funny. Want to watch that? Go ahead and watch that. But if you want to watch my review tonight, maybe 7. I don't know. It depends. Depends my mood. Okay, you got it? You dig? And I'm going to thank you. And to all of our great friends watching from the UK, God bless yous. You all are incredible. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We need more yous, as we say here. Any event, my friend. By the way, please follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. We appreciate that immensely. Please like this video. Like. Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell. Hit that little bell to indicate being notified of new streams and new videos and new stuff like that. And again, subscribe, and like. All right, my friends, we love you. Thank you for the contributions. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for being. Remember today, after all, watch this. I'm going to be watching with rapt attention, dear friends. Until then, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Ta-ta.